This one is called the pants. Take H.
All right.
Welcome to a video episode of
Funniest Thing with Darrell
and Ed.
Yeah.
And today's episode has the best title ever.
It is called
Before the Shower's On, Make Sure
Your Power's On.
Yes. And what we mean about that, what do we mean by that?
Today's episode is a quick episode all about the importance of a morning routine.
Yes.
We talked about it on our show many times.
All the time.
And we want to do a quick supplemental video, just like taking your Flintstone vitamins to help you get started every day.
Yes, because how you start your day actually sets the tone for what you'll experience throughout your day.
Yeah, and it'll alleviate a lot of suffering and a lot of trying to pretend I'm happy.
So before we lose our power, I think we should start by connecting. Making sure the power is on with our three breaths.
Yes. So, the breath for today is, I start my day
in a wonderful way.
Yeah.
These leather jackets sure make a lot of noise.
And they're really kicking the temperature up like 20 degrees. I'm going to have to take mine off, I think. All right.
Oh.
Here you go. I'm going to give that to one of our prop guys.
Thanks there. Leon,
thank you.
Okay, you ready?
All right, so here we go. Let's take one breath to clear our mind.
Okay.
I start my day in a wonderful way.
I start my day in a wonderful way.
I start my day in a wonderful way. Perfect. All right.
And what we mean by that is, before we get going, we don't just say we're doing a morning routine. We actually take the time to do it.
That's right.
And a real simple story on how I got started, real quick, was this was about 28 years ago. I was 30 days away from a court-martial in the military, and I was terrified.
I can imagine.
About how I was going to weasel my way out of this. Because I was like, I got to get these other guys to lie and stick to the story.
Yes.
Because if the truth gets out about what I did, because what I did was wrong and deserved to be, deserved to go to a court-martial for, I would be punished, and I was all about avoiding punishment.
Right.
Which is a whole nother story. But the whole point of this story is, I was talking to a guy, I was walking at Fort DeRussy military base, this was in Oahu, and the guy who became my spiritual mentor at the time, Mike Dugan, asked me how I was doing, and I said, I'm doing all right. He goes, what are you talking about? And he started mentioning all these things that I should be grateful for, and they were all right on the money, I'm alive, I'm young, all this stuff, and I go, yeah, but I got serious problems, man. I'm going to go to Leavenworth.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, don't you do a morning routine? And he knew I didn't do a morning routine.
Yes.
This is how these guys get you.
Right.
And he said, look, and I guess I had that look like I had a lot to do in the morning,
Right.
Because right in a minute he goes, look, I timed it just for you. It only takes 7 minutes.
Nice.
And he suggested I do some simple prayers.
Yes.
But the way he prefaced it all is what got my attention.
Yes.
One is, he said, it's not about, being good. He goes, before you do anything, before you shower, because he said, living life isn't about jumping out of bed and dragging yourself through your miserable day.
Sure.
He said, when was the last time you got up just 7 minutes early and were kind and loving to Darrell? And I never heard a man say anything like that before.
Right.
So that woke me up. And he suggested some simple prayers that, we're going to give you those same suggestions. Nothing that I could be offended by. And then he said this. He goes, I got to tell you something. If you can't wake up just 7 minutes early and be kind and loving to Darrell, there is nothing anyone can do to help you. But I guarantee you, if you do this simple morning routine for 30 days, Just try it out for 30 days. You will be amazed at how much your life will be transformed for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And he also suggested it isn't about being a goody two-shoes and finding a shrine or whatever. Don't make it hard.
Right.
He said, just get up, pour your orange juice. At the time, I was still smoking cigarettes.
Right.
It's not about being good. He goes, get your cigarettes, your ashtray, your orange juice, or your coffee. Sit down, read these prayers, and I'm going to read a simple way to get started. And you know what? Here's the thing. In my mind, I wanted to believe that was true.
Yeah.
Because that seems so much easier than trying to get everyone to bend to my will.
Right.
And the bottom line is, 30 days later, I showed up to my court-martial instead of trying to avoid it, instead of trying to get those other guys. And when the captain asked me the questions, is it true that you did this? I just said, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. And when each time he asked me, and I told him, I just said, yes, sir. Not yes, but you don't understand, or
sure.
Yes, but the other guys were drinking too, or yes.
Yes.
And whenever yes, sir, I started feeling so free. I was like, if I go to Leavenworth, that's okay, because I never felt this free before. I'll still have my morning routine.
Yes.
And funniest thing, when you face your lions with this spirit of acceptance and surrender,
yes,
the lion turns into an Airedale, like you always bust my chops out.
Yeah, because I thought an Airedale was an Airedale Terrier.
I think it is.
It's a better...
I think it might be.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But anyway, the thing is, I ended up, instead of going to Leavenworth, my seemingly negative past, being in all that trouble, turned out to be my best asset, and I ended up working in law enforcement. It was just an amazing, incredible story. But we continue to do this, Ed and I, because it really does transform our day, and it really is the only way to live serenely, moment to moment throughout my day.
Yes.
And real quick, this just breaks it down, and we'll show you some great tools, suggestions. And this is from a book from Alcoholics Anonymous, a 12-step program. It's great reading for anybody, alcoholic or not, because it's loaded with spiritual food. And here it says on page 86, on awakening, this is how to do a morning routine. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought, or a decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We are often surprised how the right answers come after we've tried this for a while. What used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. We find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely on it. And then it goes on to say, which is the great tool throughout the day, as we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves we are no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, thy will be done. We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We do not tire so easy, for we're not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. It works, it really does.
Nice.
And you were telling me a great example how you got started with this.
Yeah, that is true, because a lot of people that I know, including myself, well, I've always meditated. I learned to meditate a while back, and for me, it was like as soon as I learned how to do it, it became an everyday thing. But a lot of people that I know talk about meditation and prayer like they'll go on binges, like 20-day prayer.
Like the Oprah Deepak challenge.
Yeah, with these programs where it's like, it's great, or maybe go to a 10-day thing somewhere far away and then, be silent for 10 straight days. All these things, and they're all great, but at this point, it's and Darrell kind of gave me a shot in the arm about it, really asked me, do I just sit there and do it every day, and what does that look like? And I realized that as much as I thought I was kind of doing it every day, it wasn't until I made it just as much a part of my day as brushing my teeth And like it's not even something that I could possibly think of not doing, because when I wake up, sometimes I'll wake up peaceful, and then within moments those voices of like doubt and stuff will come in, and some days my dreams are full of those doubts and voices, so there's no rest even there. So as soon as I get to the couch and sit down, I'll breathe for a few minutes, then I start reading. And it's like, I get in touch with my power, which is why we call the show before the shower's on. Make sure your power's on,
because that's another thing. Do this one like I do it before I shower, before Lori gets up.
Yeah,
because it helps both Ed and I become reasonably sane, lovable husbands too.
Yes.
Because before I do my routine, my mind, I'm grumbling.
Yeah.
In my mind, like, oh, I can't believe the dishes are out, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I get my coffee, I sit on the couch. As soon as I start reading, it's almost like,
And sometimes I forget, even moments after I've done the morning routine, what I learned while I was doing it. But at least then I have a standing chance of getting back into the flow, whereas if I had not taken those moments to read and get into a peaceful place, I would have far less of a chance of being able to find that peaceful place when I lose it again later, which is inevitable.
And the best news is, the truth, even psychologists, if you're not spiritual and you're on the psychiatric side of things, they have conclusively proven how you begin your day sets the tone for the day.
Yeah.
So, what do we got?
Let's talk about some of the tools that we actually use, and one of the ones that we feature heavily on our show is the Daily Word.
That's right.
Or I like the big version of the Daily Word. This is the large print version.
It comes to your house.
Here's the regular one.
You could also get it on your cell phone. Go to dailyword.com.
Yeah.
Next month has a little chickie on it for spring.
Yeah. It's an one-stop spot for your morning routine.
Yes.
It's a perfect place to start.
Has an affirmation, a word, short inspirational reading. It's not about doing this for long. Keep it short so you do it on a regular basis.
Yeah. So like these ones are perfect. You can see here, this was from Wednesday, October 30th, and it was about being responsible for your life, which is about our show. What our show is all about today. It says, at times I may feel inadequate or burdened by regret. If so, I take responsibility to live from the truth of my birthright. I am made of the love of God. Nothing can prevent me from being true to the presence and power of God in me. I move forward undaunted with courage and faith. Just reading that is like so refreshing to some of the other thoughts that might be going through my mind and your mind in the morning.
And what else we got?
This is another one. This is great for everyone. It's very practical stories from Alan Cohen. This one also
simple, short.
Yes, we'll start with a quote,
and you could show them.
Starts with a quote.
Very much like the Daily Word.
Little practical tales from Alan's life.
If you're afraid of biblical things, that's okay. Start with something like this.
Yeah. Then if you're interested in the Bible or interested in getting back in the Bible.
In a new thought type of way. Practical
Around the Year with Emmett Fox, which is another one we read from regularly on the show, is a great one. This one has really grown on me. In the beginning, it was a little... I don't know. There's something to it that it took me a while to ease into, but now I read it every day and I love it.
Well, the Bible verses kind of scared me in it at first.
Yeah. But
now we look at them more like positive quotes that are really, really old, because that's all they really are. It's helpful hints.
Sometimes you need to decipher what they meant in order to get to and you find out that they're saying the same thing.
Yes, as a modern day Louise Hay quote or something.
Yeah. So those are some of the books. We also go to goodreads.com, search for Darrell and Ed, one word, and you will find a whole list of books that you can choose from. And anything that inspires you is fine too, because that's the key. I now have books in my car too. I do a middle of the day routine as well, anytime during the day when I need another recharge. Since I started my day positively, sometimes I drive my son to school and immediately I read a couple more paragraphs from these inspiring books and do a quick meditation just to reset my brain again.
After the drive,
after seeing all the people. It's like I wear a lot of hats, so I have to keep renewing my mind.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you do it first thing in the morning, you can always plug back in easily. If you don't do it, or if you get out of the habit of doing it, and all those other things like the retreats and all these other things, these little 30-day getaways, those are great ways to get you started. The thing about meditation, there's two things about it.
Shoot.
start and continue.
Nice. It is true, because there's something great about your whole life turning into your retreat, your whole life turning into your pilgrimage, so that there's no hangover. You do these little things, then the whole day becomes full of the funniest things, and then you don't have to go far away and then to find what you're looking for, because it's right inside.
Hi, diddly dee.
You.
I'm with Eddie B. So don't forget to tune in to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed on
Unity Online Radio, live each week, Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. East Coast. Go to unity.fm. There's a tab for shows. You can click on Funniest Thing. All of our episodes are there. Go to iTunes for our podcast. Subscribe to the podcast. If you listen to our podcast on iTunes, make a comment. It's very helpful for us to keep reaching more people in that way.
And you know what the best part is, Ed?
What?
It's free!
It is free. And there's also the Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed fan page on Facebook. I don't know if we mentioned it, but we always post these videos. We post little uplifting quotes. Whatever we're getting into, whatever fun we're having, we put it there. And we also read on the air anything you write on that page.
Yeah, so if you comment, we'll break your anonymity and brag about you on our show.
Totally. We love it. So, is there anything else that we want to say before we go?
I can't think of anything else.
All right, my friends. Darrell and Ed love you.
That's right.